What up? What up? What up? Welcome to the Golf Locker Room. We are up in the house. Episode 42, the beginning of June 1. What up, Big Sif?
What's good with you, bro? What's going on in LA?
Oh man, LA is good. A little warm right now, but all is well. Can't complain. All is well. All right, Miss Carlos Golf Life, what's cracking?
Man, so y'all know I just returned back last night from my 6 days in Myrtle Beach, which was absolutely everything. Was out there with about 72 plus folks from everywhere, and we golfed our ball. And I sucked the first 5 days or so, but my last day I ended up with an 81 and came in first place in my little flight, and it was a good time. Met a lot of great people and plan to run it back next year. Went to Bike Week, ate a lot of seafood, need to go on a diet, Oof, it was real.
Nice. What kind of flight? What flight was you in?
The flight I was supposed to be in. I was in D flight. I'm a D flight player.
I don't know what it is. I was just like, what flight and how do they do the flights? I'm trying to get information. So sensitive.
Yeah. No, I'm a D. I was on the D flight.
Hold on. Hey, Miss Cards Garfield, what flight was you in? I had to rewind it.
I was in D flight.
Oh, nice.
I was in D flight.
Cool. Was it mixture? I just wanted to know, do you guys go head up with the guys, or it's just a mixture? Everybody's in a flight. It could be women. It could be men. It doesn't matter.
So what they do is they have it where you're always going to play with the A, B, C, and D flight person.
Oh, okay.
But they have, they have the regular skins, and then they also have like the big boy skins or whatever. I went to the pay window one of the days, and then after that was it. But it's really cool, and we're trying to get more women out there. Yeah, we're trying to get more women to come out there. So next year, I'll definitely put that information out there because the price point, you really couldn't beat it. It was like, I think I mentioned, it was 5 rounds of golf, 4 nights stay at the Legends, breakfast and lunch, and we paid $504.
That's pennies. I don't think I could just eat at home for 5 days for $504, much less play golf.
Exactly.
Incredible.
Yeah, so it was great. And shout out to Alonzo Cobb and Robert Irwin for putting it all together and coordinating and inviting me out. We had a blast.
Okay.
Hey, Trish, was that your first time in Myrtle?
It was. Somebody should have warned me about Myrtle Beach. Truly, somebody should have warned me about Myrtle Beach.
What's going on with Myrtle Beach?
I love it.
It's a mecca. It's the mecca. I mean, it's the mecca of golf.
Well, yeah. I know they have about 50 courses, 25 courses.
Shit,
I think somebody was talking and said like hundreds.
Yeah, they got hundreds of golf courses, man.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
It's crazy. Yeah.
In good condition.
Like on that. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Beautiful. We played at 4 courses right there on site, and then we played at one that was called Heritage, and it was like a slave plantation. Right. And so it's pretty neat because they have like the slave, they have like the slave cemetery and all that stuff. So
that's dope. That's dope. Yeah,
It was.
a group of my guys just went and did a tournament. They do a tournament every year. They travel, but they did Myrtle Beach like a couple of weeks, a week right after we went from Vegas. They went down there, about 20 of them, and do Myrtle Beach too. Nice. Sif Dog, the Memorial
Yeah, man.
Tournament. Seen pictures. Talk to me about it. When you going down? When you arriving?
Man, I'm headed out in the morning, man. I saw today where they had the festivities of Charlie being an honoree for the memorial in Jack Nicklaus. So Charlie Jr. up there speaking, man.
I did. I watched it on the Golf Channel too.
Yeah, so it was dope, and just looking forward to getting up there and mixing it up with everyone. We should have a great time. The organizers have done a great job in terms of getting this together and playing Renee Pyle's golf course.
That's amazing.
One of the oldest black golf courses in the world. So I'm looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to having a good time. So.
That's dope. Yeah, I wish I would have made it. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. My alarm set a couple of days ago. I was at work and my alarm was going off. It was saying Ohio. I was like, yep, I had already set it, thinking I was going. Let's get that up for the trip. I'm sure you'll give us updates and there'll be more pictures and you'll talk about it on the show next Wednesday. All right. News. Any news? Harold almost got a win, but imploded on Sunday. That's okay though. But he imploded.
But the thing is, I put out there in the alliance. I said, I'm the only one that can say this.
I saw that.
But just being, friends and things of that nature. But
exactly.
Seriously though, but he's got to find a way to close. If he doesn't find a way to close, we don't want this to become where the second baseman can't throw it to first. I don't know if you guys remember that he just had an issue throwing the ball to first base. He could never throw it to first, and so ultimately sometimes those things, man, hang around for an extended period of time, and now all of a sudden they become mental, and that's the one thing that I'm praying that doesn't happen.
Mission creep, man.
Yeah, it's just almost like picking a wedge up, and you got the shanks, and you just don't know what you're gonna do, and so. But Harold's got a great personality. He's receptive, so he'll laugh it off, and
you got to. You got no doubt. You got to forget about that whole weekend, huh?
No, but he's made over 10 million and hasn't made a big tour win or whichever, at least in the States or whichever. But he's made $10 million. I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah.
Well, he's rich now, though, so now we can concentrate on winning.
Right, and so
his family's going to be fine.
Yeah, that's the whole deal.
That's the first part.
Yeah, once you secure that bag, then all of a sudden, now you cross finish lines, and we saw Tiger do that. He's gonna make this shot, and it's hard to compare people to Tiger. I'll use somebody else, but once you secure the bag, then. The shots, they don't become easy, but you become that risk taker. And the only thing that I say in Harold's scenario was I wish he made a comment on social media about he looks to beat his player instead of playing the golf course. And I if I had the opportunity to talk with him, I say, hey dude, when you get in a position like that, you just play the golf course. Because if he shoots even par, he makes another $1 million, and so then he makes the President's Cup. Then you in the top. It's a whole lot of things that's attached to a top 10 and a top 5
every time. So some players win and get rich, and then not get lazy, but that fire leaves. Right. He's gotten rich, and he still has the fire. So and like most minority golfers, with the exception of Tiger. We still entered the game and upper echelon of golf later than others. So our peak, minority's going to peak later because we got into the game later and we started excelling and maybe got enough finances and money to get the top level instruction and team around you to excel. So, I'm hopeful and I'm happy. All right, let's move on to the LIV Golf Tour. Dustin Johnson was the first name. I'm just waiting on Ricky Fowler and a few others to drop because I think that's coming. What's
Right.
your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm looking at Dustin Johnson. One of his huge sponsors just dropped him, and
Yeah,
so
RBC.
yeah, man, and they dropped him. But the thing is I'm a fan of Dustin Johnson,
Me
and
too.
I'm a fan of Dustin Johnson because he does it his way.
Yeah, yeah.
If he makes a bad shot, you'll never know it. If he's got a comment, he's gonna make the comment. So he's doing it his way, and I don't have a problem with someone going to, when you got guaranteed money on the table. I don't have
Yeah.
a problem with it. I don't see what the uproar is about someone. And I hate to use defect as a word because it's almost
It's
like you're
business.
defecting, but
Yeah,
you're
no,
just
this
taking
business.
advantage of another opportunity. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I don't like to talk. I get protecting the tour, I get protecting the money, but let's dig deeper. The tour is a nonprofit organization. People forget that. The PGA Tour is a nonprofit entity that puts on tournaments for professional golf. That's its mission. That's what it's created as, and that's what it is. Now, within that comes, many octopus tentacles with TV money and sponsorship money and investment, and so I understand that. But I'm not glad Dustin did it, but you can't not say his team ain't tight.
Right.
So whatever they went through and the research they went through, it was reportedly he got 125 million to join. So 125 million. Right now, his estimated net worth is 50 million. So with that one move, he's at 175 million.
No
I'm gonna say
brainer.
that again.
Wow.
His net worth was 50 million, which is nice. But they paid him 125. Now, between the go to hockey, the great one, his wife, and his team that's around him, somebody did some research and was like, "Man, you need to take this bread." And I'm gonna trust his team. This is
Yeah.
not this is not someone that's broke. This is not someone that can't win on the PGA Tour. This is not someone that's desperate for money or fame.
Right.
This was obviously a kitchen sit down table with the whole family and team, and they did all the research and was like, "Look, take the money."
Yeah.
Or they was like, "Play in it and we'll sue and they can't kick you out."
Yeah.
We'll take the
That's
gamble.
what I think.
Worst case scenario, if they kick you out and we lose in court, you 125 million to the good.
Pretty
Best
good.
case scenario is you're 125 million to the good, and you still playing on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
So their gamble to me was sensible, and it made smart business moves for their situation. Everybody's situation ain't the same, but for that situation, I think it was rooted in facts and intelligence, not just a crap. What do you guys
Plus, Dustin has the mentality to take any criticism.
Yeah.
He has that.
Yeah.
That couldn't happen to Snedeker. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that bravado to take the ridicule. Justin said, shit, I don't give a damn. You come at me or not. So I'm sure a lot of that played in as well in terms of, you go to a McDonald's, you go into a Burger King, and somebody's, Dustin can take that. That don't bother him.
Nah.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't. Other situations
No, but
is totally different.
But you see, Phil's not on the list right now. So y'all think Phil's gonna end up playing?
Who?
Let's see. Phil was a coward.
Phil's not there.
At least Dustin Johnson is a gangster, and Ricky Fowler was a gangster. Phil backtracked on the PGA, and he backtracked on the LIV Golf Tour, on both. He should have just been like, "Look, they paying me a lot of money. I'm not sure. I don't want to give up on the PGA Tour, but I also want to play on this tour. I would make more money on the LIV Tour than I would on the Champions Tour. How you guys going to take that away from me? And I gave so much to the game." That should have been his argument. That's the cross he should have died on. He shouldn't have died on the lies and the secret, trying to convince people, and then backtracking and calling out the PGA Tour, and then calling out the Saudis, and stand on what you wanted to do and make your case, and just live with it.
I think Phil gonna get that money.
Yeah, I think that played a big part. That I think nobody wants him around. I don't think the Saudis care anymore, especially if they got. I think that 125 left Phil's hands and hands.
But they still, Greg Norman, he says he's still welcome. People make mistakes. He said he probably put his foot in his mouth, but he's still welcome if he did decide that he wanted to come through.
Well, allegedly, you're gonna get that money.
Yeah, allegedly, the Saudis put up $2 billion.
Right.
They put up $2 billion.
Yeah.
For a 4-year, 5-year thing to run this tour. That's a lot of money. That's putting up $2 billion without sponsors, without TV, without anything. Here's $2 billion. Nothing.
Will we be able to see it? Is it going to be televised? The London joint?
They'll get some European TV, whether it's Sky Fox or Algiers, or they make their own streaming thing. They're gonna get, and people gonna tune in, at least for the first one. They're gonna get some.
I need to update my Fire Stick.
Yeah, ESPN's gonna show highlights. They're gonna get coverage. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're used to it. The women, the LET tour, the Women's European Tour, they play 6 or 7 events in Saudi. They're set up for TV. So it's not a strange, brand new thing. They're just, so we'll see. I mean, I'm a PGA Tour guy. I like the PGA Tour. It hasn't always treated us well, but you can't kill the pie if you want a piece of it. That's just my philosophy. Why tear down the pie, but yet you want a piece? I want a piece, so I'm not going to tear down the pie. But I think they're not playing it well. Just in my humble, small opinion. I think
they're saying
I don't think they're playing it well. I wouldn't be so quick to want to go to court. That's just me. I wouldn't be so quick to want to go to court. I mean, I'm sure it was going to end up there anyway, and they felt like they were infringing on a lot of things, and they may have gotten pressure from the sponsors and the TV contracts because they need the big stars to, RBC had commercials just yesterday with Dustin Johnson playing in the RBC Heritage, which you won't be playing because it'll be in London. So, I don't think that was right of justice. I mean, come on. That's your sponsor. At least you should have gave them a heads up. Like, I know I'm your sponsor. I know you sponsor me, but I'm not going to play in your tournament. I'll be getting 125. But, hey, time will tell. It's very interesting. I do know competition hurts no one. That's what I do know.
Yeah.
In the end. It may be some hard, bumpy roads, but in the end, I watched the ABA and the NBA do that when I was smaller, the AFL and the NFL. People don't know there was no such thing as a Super Bowl before the AFL. There's no Super Bowl before the AFL. That's what made the Super Bowl was the AFL and the NFL coming together.
Mm-hmm.
And then once the NFL just engulfed the AFL, it was a lot of Al Davis craziness that was like, we need a Super Bowl. They had a championship, but they never had a Super Bowl and all this stuff that they had. So
world champion,
and it made football a lot better, just like the ABA. Just like the ABA made the NBA. It was no 3-point shot in the NBA before the ABA.
Mm-hmm.
The 3-point shot came from the ABA, and when the NBA gobbled up the ABA, it took the best parts of the ABA, and now we have a modern NBA. But I digress. We have a great guest today. Trish, you want to give up a little intro so we can bring him on now?
Evening this afternoon, we have a special guest, Mr. Carlos Brown. Instruction. He's got many years of experience, and we're bringing him on so he can tell us where he's came from, why golf, and everything that he's doing right now.
All right. Let's bring him on, Mr. Carlos Brown. Welcome, brother. Welcome. Let's give you some air horns. Welcome to the Golf Locker Room.
What's going on, everyone?
What's good?
Good,
Wow,
good.
wow.
Nice, nice. We always start with the same thing. Give us a little background history and how you got into golf, and why you love golf, and how did you fall into this great game?
All right. Actually, my dad got me into it when I was young. So I was around about 11, or yeah, about 11. So, and
Okay.
he wanted my younger sister and I to just learn it because he was just learning it with a good friend of his, and he wanted to. He read that it was good for kids to learn golf. It was good for business. It was good, a good mental game. And so he introduced it to us. He actually introduced it to my older brother, but my older brother was into football.
Mm.
But fast forward, now my older brother loves golf.
Exactly.
but 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 yeah, it was something that, so I played, football, soccer, basketball, all that stuff, and even a little bit of roller hockey. And golf was the only sport that just really captured my attention. Even though I was pretty good at football and these other sports, it got boring after a while, because it was just the same thing. Same field. You might play against different people, but golf kept my attention. It's a different course, right? A different layout. Everywhere you go is always changing. And then the style of it was cool. It was something that no one else, could. There's no other sport that could really compare to that style that you have in golf.
Mm.
And so, I mean, I just
Exactly.
really, really loved it, really enjoyed it. I still do. And again, it was just something that kind of grabbed me.
Okay. Nice, 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 nice. Did you after high school, did you go and play in the college levels, or what did you do out of high school?
Yeah, I went to college. I went to college a little bit at the University of Hawaii, Manoa. Um, Things didn't work out as well as I wanted it to, is one of those things. Um, but when I came back to be a golf professional at 23. And
Wow.
that was something that I always wanted to do since I was a junior.
Nice, 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 nice. And Lord knows we need more golf professionals. First contact, you bring everyone into the game, which is so, so important. Sif, do you have a question?
How you doing, Brother Brown?
Good, good. How are you doing?
I'm well, man. I'm well. Man, it sounds like well, I appreciate your journey. Sometimes we go through life and not want to revisit our dreams, and it looks like that you did. And being a teaching pro at 23, I think that says a lot about your tenacity, and a lot about your character. But being introduced to the game at 11, um, in your opinion, why don't you think that other young kids, especially kids of color, why they don't gravitate to the game at an earlier age?
Well, it starts at home. It starts with your surroundings. You know, I talked to somebody about this a while ago, somebody in the MLB area. And one thing he said is he loved baseball because that was around him growing up.
Mm.
Right.
That was, his family was into it, everybody in his neighborhood. And so when you're surrounded by something like that, you're intrigued. It makes you want to go out there. It makes you want to play.
That's true. That's true.
If it hadn't been for my dad, I don't know if I would have got into it early. Right.
Facts.
And so I think it's exposure. Even if it's taking your kids out to a tournament and explaining the game to them while they're at a tournament, or
That's
having
smart.
them just ride along with you while you're playing.
Right.
But
No, that's
go
smart.
ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying that's smart. That's smart.
Sometimes I think we treat golf like a secret. like a sidekick or a side guy,
Real
you
talk.
know, in our culture, right?
That's
So,
true.
you know, it's something that we play and it's only for us and our friends because it might be an outlet.
Right.
But
Yeah.
then you're not introducing and bringing your kids into it. And so they
That's
don't bring their kids into it unless they learn it later on.
Mhm.
true.
And
True.
so I think it starts with us. You know, we want other cultures to help us and give us what we deserve, but we have to just go out and take the initiative to get it done.
It's true. That's true. Let's get that up too.
Hey, one more thing, Manny. I'll let him off the hook. So say, like for example, we grew up. A lot of us grew up going to recreational programs, kind of social recreational programs in the community. That were paid for by each municipality. So, and this may sound far fetched, but a friend and I was talking about this one time. So you know how we go to the rec, they gonna roll the balls out. You know what I mean? They're gonna roll the balls out. We automatically get the basketball and start dribbling. Would it be um, would it be out of context to say, can inner city recreational programs uh, create the same thing that they did with the basketball goals and the softball and baseball fields? Is that asking too much?
I don't.
I think they can. It just takes more work.
Hmm.
And it takes people, and I know there are golf pros out there that do that kind of stuff, that have night leagues, you know, indoor golf sessions to keep kids off the street up north and all these different things. But it just takes us getting out there and doing it.
Right.
And it's easy to just dump a bunch of balls out and say, okay, go ahead and start hoop. But I'll give you a little. So some years ago, I wanted to get back to my old high school, and I was probably about 30 to 40 minutes away from where I used to go to high school.
Right.
I reached out to that golf coach, the high school coach at the time, and I said, any one of those kids that want free lessons, that are really interested in, you know, getting better, they can come and see me. I got them. You know, if they need equipment, I got them. And then you know what he told me? He
What's that?
said, the parents don't want to go that far. Now check this out. If I have a football or basketball camp, I would have 40 kids there.
Easy.
Easy.
Easily, hands down.
It's the parents.
Most definitely.
The parents don't value what golf can do.
Right.
They're looking at a low hanging fruit. What they've been
Right.
taught, or what
Yeah.
they saw growing up, is football, basketball, and sometimes baseball, and that's what, from Little League to Pop Warner to, that's what they grew up on. That's what they think is the ticket. They don't understand that golf is a big part of that. And I think sometimes if we have other influencers that, and it doesn't always have to be the teacher professionals, to me. It
Right.
needs to be other people like us. Like, we have a show. We're not teacher professionals, right? But we could come up with certain things to educate parents, to
Right.
make them value. I call it golf normalization. So a program to make golf normalize. Like,
Right.
these opportunities are here. Yeah, you hear it, but the first thing parents do hear is, oh, it's so expensive. You got to travel, such and such. And then, the kids like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But I think it does have to start with the parents and make
Right.
sure
It
that
does.
they
And
value it like they value the other stuff, basketball and football.
right.
And I was actually listening to Golf Channel today, and they had the same conversation with the women with the LPGA Tour. So they were around the table at the US Open, and they were like, we need American women and women in general to be attracted to golf, because we're losing great golfers to basketball, volleyball, tennis, and we're not getting the best athletes that would be great in golf because those sports are still more popular growing up. And I think it's the same thing in all communities, not just the women's or especially minority communities. I think we got to normalize golf and get to these parents and hopefully get better. I think more parents now, definitely more parents now are aware than my parents. My parents. Me and my dad, we would sit and watch the PGA Tour only because we would watch Ben Crenshaw play because we lived off of Crenshaw. So we sat there. That was our only connection to golf. We stayed off the Shaw, and we was like, "Oh, his name is Crenshaw." Like we sat there on Sundays after church watching PGA on Channel 2, only because Ben Crenshaw's last name was Crenshaw, and we lived off Crenshaw in South Central. They're crazy, but look how full circle I'm in the golf. And remember sitting with my dad, and we was liking it. We would sit there for a couple hours and thoroughly enjoy it. Didn't know what the hell we was watching, but we enjoyed it. Trish.
So Carlos, so your story, I've been in golf for just a little bit, but I ran across you and just the different things that you do for the youth and with instruction. But you qualified to play in the U.S. Adaptive Open Championship, at Pinehurst. So my question to that is, for those that don't know and that don't know your story, do you mind sharing a little bit about that and also telling us about, you qualifying to play in this event coming up?
Yeah, I'll definitely get into it. I'm trying to see how much time do we have for this podcast.
Hey, we have no end time. You do what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but a lot of people when they ask about my amputation, what I tell people is a lot of it came from depression. So I struggled with depression, like growing up through high school, especially, and even one thing about depression, when things don't work out, it builds up, right? There's not one thing that just makes depression happen as far as like before a breakdown. It's years of buildup, right? Things not working out in college like I wanted. When I first came back to become a golf professional, tried to play, things didn't work out. Part of it didn't. The things are not working out was because I was dealing with depression. Not having that focus and everything that you need to play on a higher level. So before I lost my leg in 2016, I had a golf academy in LA, Industry Hills area, and in Texas, right, in Dallas area. And from the time I was 23 till 2016, I think I only took one vacation.
Wow.
I worked almost 7 days a week. Well, a lot of that was because, when Puffy said something like, I sleep when I'm dead. Well, a lot of that is running away from stuff, right? You don't sleep because if you sleep, you have to deal with issues. When things are quiet, there is no peace because you're dealing with issues, And so I kept busy, working with professional players, working with college players, high school, just back and forth. And I was on a golf course in 2016 and sprung my ankle. But because I would have to sit at home, I kept teaching and working on it.
Oh, wow.
And then it got infected, and then I ended up going to the hospital. And then they told me I had a 90% chance they wouldn't amputate. And I was in that 10%.
Oh, wow. Wow.
But what I tell a lot of people is, that amputation saved my life. That was the only way for me to slow down. Right?
Exactly.
God allowed this to happen to get my attention, save my life, and this amputation is a blessing.
Wow. Let's get that up. Total refocus.
And it hasn't stopped in no way, shape, or form. So I think that's so qualifying for the U.S. Adaptive Open. So how'd that all come about?
Well, there's actually, what people don't realize, there's tournaments all over the world for adaptive golf.
Wow.
There's a world golf ranking through the R&A and USGA.
Oh, wow.
So I'm talking about all through Europe, Asia. There's huge tournaments. Actually, Europe does a great job, and some of their events are adaptive events as well. And so, which is really dope, which I wish the PGA Tour would do here, right?
Yeah.
But the USGA came through by saying, let's make a 15th national championship to go along with the U.S. Open, women's US Open, amateur, all that stuff. And they came up with the U.S. Adaptive Open at Pinehurst number 6.
Nice. Let's get that up. Amazing. I just heard that term, that's why it's not I just heard the adaptive term because last week we have a guy that had been shot and got paralyzed. His name is Walking Rich, and he uses the golf cart that stands him up so he can play, but he's totally paralyzed from the leg down. He's a paraplegic, and he was like, yeah, we need more adaptive equipment at these golf courses so people like me and other people can actually play, which is amazing. And with our vets out there, and I think that golf gives those vets peace. I see so many vets come home with some limbs missing, and they gravitate to golf, and that's just amazing. Let's get that up. And you're teaching very, very inspirational. That means no excuses. Make it happen.
None.
No excuses. Me and my good friend, he just did a post about depression, because depression is a disease. It's not something light. It is a disease like cancer. It's a disease like liver failure, and it must be treated and it must be taken seriously. He was one of the godfathers of Regina King's son, who recently passed over depression. And so he got woken up, and he's always like, we need to make depression more available and information to let people know that it's just not somebody wanting to stay at home and eat, or it's not somebody just lazy sitting on the couch that just want to watch TV. It is a disease that needs to be treated and needs to be monitored and know the signs and symptoms. I'm a nurse, and I work for the government, so we always have these kinds of training for our veterans, you know what I mean? But regular folks need to understand and take the stigma off. You wouldn't look at someone with breast cancer and be like, you just don't want to wear no bra today. You want to understand so you can help people. You know what I mean? And it's a disease. It's not a choice. It's not something people did to themselves. It's a disease that needs to be treated, and that can be treated, thank God. And people make full recoveries. People make full recoveries of that.
It's a silent killer.
Like blood pressure, just like high blood pressure, it's a silent killer. Real talk. Real talk.
And especially in our culture, and Black and brown culture, right? Even Asian culture is not going to get counseling, therapists, get through it. We're taught to bottle it in, and then to use other ways, whether it's alcohol, drugs, whatever, to get through it.
Exact. Self-medicate. We want to self-medicate sometimes. A lot of our homeless is not homeless because of finances and not homeless because of addiction. It's the root is mental
Yes,
illness, and then they
the root.
self-medicate, then they become homeless because of the self-medication. But then we'll just say,
Right.
oh, they're homeless. If we just gave them, a mansion, they would be good. No, you
Yeah.
start peeling back layers. First,
Yeah.
you deal with the addiction, and then you peel back the real layer, and it's some mental health that needs to be treated and monitored. Else they go right back in the circle of self-medication, and it
Right.
starts all over again
Yeah.
if they even survive
Right.
that. You know what I mean? And we just, as a country, we just haven't done good, especially as sometimes as a people we're taught to, it's weak to seek mental help.
Right.
It's a stigma. And I don't know if that came from generations of just being poor, and we didn't even if they was acceptable of help, there was no help back in the, for my parents. They grew up really poor in the South. I just don't think it was a lot of mental health help in Tennessee and Forsyth, Georgia. They wasn't getting no mental help. So I guess they was like, well, we ain't getting none anyway. Bottle it up and keep it pushing. But thank God we actually have resources.
Right.
We're in a better
Yeah.
position than our parents. And so for our kids and our friends and family, we can come to Jesus moment and be like, no, there's nothing wrong with getting professional help, because this is a problem. It's a professional problem. It's not a choice. So hopefully we get on that. We talked about that on like one of the first or second podcasts we did last year about seeking help, and as long as we're strong and our swing is good, but our mind got to be good too. Our mind
Right.
got to be.
Mhm.
Well, that's
Sif.
the biggest thing I see with working with competitive players.
Okay.
So I work internal to external, because
Okay.
if your mind gives your body direction, it's hard if your mind is cluttered and like a lot of this for you to perform at the highest level.
Okay. Got it.
Some people are so talented
Yeah.
that their talent can kind of carry them, but not as far as they could.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's still stumbling blocks.
Yeah.
So you have, yeah. So you have all these certifications that I was looking at that you had sent over. So your certifications with the Mental Training Incorporated, certified in mental training. So did you do that for the golf aspect of it? Did you do it, like for me, golf is my peace. If I'm stressed, I can go out, bang out some balls, and it's my peace. It's a stress reliever. So what was your reasons behind getting that certification?
Well, I got into it because I started working with a lot of competitive players early on. A
Okay.
lot of high school players that are playing college golf, a lot of college golfers, and some professional players. And the biggest thing is, if we don't understand ourselves, we don't know how to train, we don't know how to compete, right? And we don't understand habits, right? And so I have all my players take a personality test
Oh,
for
wow.
that. But I got into all this
Okay.
because I wanted to really get to the root, like you said, right? Get to the root, right? It's not just a skill, because we have skill, like technical skills, spiritual, mental, and physical. Those are the 4 keys that I look for with competitive play.
Wow.
And the mental is always the last thing to be looked at. And so I was very intrigued, even though I was going through mental illness at that time,
Yeah. But so it helped you as well.
Yeah.
Full holistic approach. That's why you got so many great teaching awards and recognition, because you're taking a holistic approach to being
Yeah.
a coach, a teacher, and a mentor and a guider of excellence. That is dope. Sif.
Los, man, first of all, I take my hat off to you for speaking about mental health. The thing here, the one thing about the golf locker room, we talk golf, but we can bird walk in many different directions with a myriad of subjects, which is great. The thing for me, just kind of similar to you, um, when it was my last college football game, and a lot of people don't get this, but you've been playing something all your life. You've been training and competing all your life. And so when that last football game came and went, now all of a sudden, I don't have football anymore. So then you start to look to other things to fill the void, women, alcohol, just crazy behavior, man. So, but the thing is, we have no idea, or I didn't have an idea of what it was. You're talking about 90s. I didn't know what mental health was. I didn't know that, I was, maybe suffering through some depression based on I didn't have the thing that I did since I was a child. And so so it's great that you speak about that, because I think a lot of people need to understand what it is, what it looks like, the symptoms, and talk about it. Trish said golf is something that she does to relax. You always see me on my live. I call it my sanctuary when I'm out walking the golf course. I love to walk the golf course. And the thing is I'll talk, and then I'll talk to myself. Some people say that nigga crazy. No, but sometimes you have to speak out loud and then answer yourself. But that's a part of adapting to an environment and taking on some of the issues that we kind of get beat across the head 40 and 50 hours a week working, not having to, not taking any time for ourselves, or just like you said, get caught up on the wheel. The wheel will continue as long as you will allow it to continue. And I tell people all the time, they'll put you on that wheel, and then when the heart stops or the mind explodes, they'll bury you, bring your wife or your kids some macaroni, some cheese, and collard greens, give you a card with $50 in it, and put somebody else on the wheel.
Immediately, you back on the hamster wheel. Like, what? Ned's on the wheel already? It's only been 4 hours. Like, the wheel got to keep moving. What do you think?
The wheel has to keep, exactly, man. So, that's and you just don't have no idea how much I appreciate you even mentioning that, because, like you said, it is in the Black community. You've heard the statement before. Oh man, such and he just flipped it. Ain't nothing wrong with him. Hell, he needs to get his ass. He just. But that's a sign. The next thing you know, you have no idea why such and such is found dead with a 12 gauge, up under his chin. And so in the Black community, man, we look at it and take it sometimes as a joke, and sometimes look down on people who speak about it. And so now you're afraid to speak about it because somebody gonna call you crazy. And
most traumatized people in America afraid to get some mental health. We're one of the most traumatized people for the last 200 years. We need some talking to. We the ones who need the talking to. This trauma going back 4 or 5 generations, maybe 6 or 7 generations. But we proceed and we do better when we know better, for sure.
But also to Manny's point, he's absolutely right. A friend of mine, we were talking about this post-traumatic syndrome, and see, people say, well, that can't be linked to your great grandfather because you didn't know him, and blood doesn't. But here's the thing, if your great grandfather was one of those ones who protected and say, hey, don't you go over there because they're doing this, that, and the third. So he tells that to his daughter. So his daughter tells that to her son. My mom, I never forget this as long as I live. My grandmother, I'm whistling out of the car at age 7. Just, how you stick your head out the window, you let the wind blow in your face. And I'm just whistling. I wasn't thinking about that white woman that was jogging down the street. She jerked me back in the car and said, "You're gonna get killed. You don't do that. You're gonna get killed." But I didn't understand it at the time. But as I got older, she was around when Emmett Till was murdered. See? So that's post-traumatic syndrome that's passed down.
It is passed.
So I tell my daughter the same thing. You got to be careful. So, but anyway. I appreciate
Yeah,
you.
definitely. Definitely. Let's get that up. I remember I must have been 6 or 7 driving down the street with family. My mom was quiet. You know, old school black people, they don't want to talk about finances. They don't want to give you the game on. For some reason, they always keep stuff secret. And she looked at me and she was like, never trust the police. And never trust the black Muslims. They'll kill you. And I was like, that came out the blue. I'm 6 or 7. I was like, I don't understand. What does that mean?
Right.
She was like, just do what I say. And I looked at my pops. He just shook his head like, I ain't getting into this. But that stayed with me. I'm 50 years old. I still remember that day and how she looked at me and said that. But she must have had something going on years ago.
Yeah.
The police and the black Muslims. Maybe she liked Malcolm X too much. But them two people, them two entities, get away from. Never. And the Masons, those 3, never do that. I was like, I don't understand. She never mentioned it again. But our people got some trauma. Talk it out. Talk it out. Talk it out.
Yeah.
Trish.
Carlos, tell us how that 4-mile walk went today.
What's that?
I said, tell us how that 4-mile walk went today.
4-mile walk? I hear about that.
Yeah.
You have some super spot on me?
No, we know some of the we all know some of the same good people.
Okay.
And he told me to ask you how that went.
What's that? I didn't hear you.
They got drones.
No, he asked me to ask you how that walk went.
Oh, that's good. Was that Chad?
Not just
Y'all breaking up.
Yeah, he's breaking up a little bit. But what tell us, because we about to close it down. Give us some stuff you got going now and some stuff you're doing in the future, and tell us where we can find you and what and the state of golf that's going on now. Give us your take on what you think the state of golf is for us and in general. Are we doing a good job? Of course, we can always do more. Do you like the advancement? What's your take on the state of golf? I always like to ask professionals this.
I think we can do more. We can always do more. I mean, it is trending. It's better. I really believe that we need to reach everybody, people that are adaptive, different cultures. But again, I think it starts at the bottom. You know, and again, we can't be afraid to say we enjoy golf.
Yeah.
You know, not just in our personal circles. You know, you look on the groups on Facebook, everybody loves golf, but we don't talk about it openly. And I'm not saying everybody, but a good amount of us.
True.
Right?
True.
We don't support each other enough. There's a bunch of great golf professionals out there. We don't support. You know, so I think it's really just supporting each other, but that goes beyond golf.
Yeah.
That's what we need to do, just period.
In general,
on GP. Yeah, that crab in a barrel mentality, it just goes over into golf as well.
We've seen it, unfortunately. You think it wouldn't cross over because we are supposed to be a little more enlightened, but old habits die hard, unfortunately, and it just crosses over even into golf and business and everything else. And we just got to cut it out. We got to nip that in the butt. We got to cut that out because it never serves anyone well. It don't serve the people who's doing it, and it definitely doesn't serve the people it's getting done to. So no one wins. So we got to stop that. We just got to support each other. And like I said, normalize golf. We got to make golf normalization. So, a lot of opportunities we're losing a lot of opportunities just in the pure form of ignorance, which means not ignorance as in stupid ignorance, is just not knowing. There's no information. The information is there, but
Yeah.
And so parting words, Trish, parting words, Sif. I'll let you guys decide who goes first.
Go ahead, Bike Rally.
Well, Carlos. Look here. So, Carlos, thank you so much for coming on. Make sure that you keep us posted on everything that you got going on. We're rooting for you here in July. So we're looking to, see you do great things. And and just let us know if there's anything that's going on, like with your golf instruction or anything. Let us know your links, how we can help, how can we assist, because we don't know what we don't know. So make sure that we have all your information that we can share out so that we can.
That's right. Big set.
Hey, Loach, man, it's an absolute pleasure to have met you. And the one thing that never stop is telling your story, the full story. People have a lot of appreciation for people who tell the good, bad, and the ugly. And it's obvious that you've experienced all three. And so continue to tell your story, man. Continue to be that billboard, not only for golf. We know you can play golf. We know you can teach it, but also be that billboard to promote mental health and wellness, man. That's very, very, very important. I appreciate you coming on with that. And also, I'm not but an hour away from Pinehurst. I'm here in the Carolinas. So when you make that Mecca, that journey down here, man, just keep me posted. Maybe I can get down there and chop it up with you.
Yes, sir.
Let's get at it. I'm going to say still waters run deep. And our professional guest today appeared to be still waters, just a great golf teacher professional that we just wanted to hear about stuff. And he's dipped us and treated us to a wealth of information and a holistic approach to this golf, this life, and this wellness. And our audience is just, more than grateful to you, Mr. Brown, for sharing your story, for sharing your professionalism. We just love having professionals on. And the depth that you brought tonight is very, very, very welcome and entertained. And you taught us a whole lot. And for that, let's give that up. Let's get some air horns. And anytime, brother, once you've been on the Golf Locker Room, you family, anytime you got something going, or just shoot Trish or anybody some stuff on IG when you're getting ready to hit that Adaptive US Open, so we can share it on our IG stuff and our Facebook stuff. Like we said, we all we got. If you can reach somebody, I want to reach some people to tell them about you. And so, you in the circle of our family. We got a good family going too. We got some good folks. We got some good folks that we've talked to that's been in our family, and just another added member to our extended family. And we got a good circle of real folks that are thinking the same and doing big things out there and helping people. The number one thing, helping people. And on that note, guess what? See y'all next Wednesday. And
thank y'all.
Thank you again, brother. Thanks a lot.